What up? So, if you remember, we used to work on a soundboard. And let me just fire it up. So this is what the soundboard used to look like, or what it looks like right now. We can add like a song. Then if we click the button, can play a little clip. And I'm not sure why I want to play that one a few times. Sweet. But here we are. Now I believe that my last quest was saving the files to the local, or not saving a configuration to the local file system. That's kind of where I was at the time. So that's where we're going to continue. So it's going to be it's just a lot of I don't think we'll do much on the UI, as much as we can call it the UI, but we'll never know. As always, we got a little counter going on here. Once it hits the 1 hour mark, I will stop the video. Anyway, we're going to be using, so we're using, this is an Electron app, and I did some research, and the research tells me that I can get the user data path, which is excellent because per the documentation it says it's a directory for storing your app's configuration files. So we can get the user data file. I have no idea what's in here, so let's do some console debugging. And it's a user data path. Let's just see what we're going to find in there. Just fire up the app. App data roaming soundboard. Sweet. Okay, so because this because the Electron is basically Node. Oh man, I'm out of water. Shoot. Anyway, because Electron is basically Node, we can use Node's APIs to interact with the file system. So Node has the excellent FS library. And what I want to do is just write to, this is in create window. Man, I'm really overloading a lot. App on ready, create window. Anyway, it is what it is. Just gonna do path join the user data. I'm using my mechanical keyboard, which has cherry blue keys. So you might hear a lot of keystrokes in this video. Hold on, what are we writing? We are writing to let's call it a config.json. You know, keep it easy, keep it simple. And what's the second path? Asynchronously append data to a file, creating the file if it does not avoid. Oh boy, great. So we don't want to append, we just want to write, but I'll just see what happens. So let's just write the string foo, very descriptive. Just see what app.get. Oh, sweet. Yes. See what's gonna happen there. Let's also read it. And store this in a variable. So as you can see, it's in the create window, which is of course a horrible name to do these calls in, because we're not creating window at all. We're doing a whole lot more. We're creating the windows. I don't even know why the fuck we're doing this. And we basically set up a bunch of event listeners, which is of course bad. Just gonna read the file there. Config path. So now we can use this bad boy. So I expect to see a couple of foos in here. It's a single foo. It's a single foo. All right. Oh, that's better than what I expected. So we're gonna write to the config path, and we need to write a configuration. So there's two steps. Let me open up a Scratch file so we know what we have to do. So one is load the configuration file. Step two is populate the UI based on the configuration. Three would be, that's it. So we load the configuration file, populate the UI based on the configuration. Then there's also some steps in here that we need to take care of, like what if the file doesn't exist. It's a real case, something we have to take care of. And here as well, what if files have been deleted, not exist. What if there's multiple files or multiple instances of the application, and they start to contend for the configuration file? So you can, I mean, we could always fetch the latest configuration file before saving. That would be a decent interim solution, quick and dirty, just the way I like it. We create it. Or should we create it? Should we create it on the save? Let's write a configuration manager. And the configuration manager, this path is of course this. So now the question is, like, how advanced are we going to make the configuration? Let's also define an empty configuration. Unused method. Let's see. Well, I think this would be good if we would just call it, hold on. So in here, we call it sounds, sound file, all right. Sound files, which will be an empty array. Let's just keep it at that. let's see. So I don't really like calling read file sync because it's a blocking operation and it's a bit silly to do these to block the operation, or to block basically the entire process due to the nature of node and v8. Oh well, anyway, it's important at these times that we just continue on. So let's say we need some methods. Get config, write config, right, oops, and this config is, let's get the empty config, and then let's call this get config. Actually, let's do it in here. This config is this config. Then in get config we go const conf is let's see, fs read file sync this path. So this is going to throw an error if the this is going to throw an error if this path doesn't exist. Now the reason why I'm prefixing everything with underscores is because these are private methods, as in I don't expect the consumer of the configuration manager API to call these functions. And if they do it at your own risk. If conf, let's look it up. Read file sync. What errors do you throw? Command documentation. Oh. So when the path is a directory behavior, similar. Okay. Read file, read a directory. Oh, that's interesting. So in FreeBSD you can read the you can just read the directory. Huh. Anyway, so yeah, the only way to figure out what it's going to do is by calling the code. Well, I mean, there's other ways, but so manager is new configuration manager. We know that this is going to work. Oh, that's it. I guess this is probably going to throw an error, as it should. Ooh, conf is a buffer. Oh, right, of course. But what if it doesn't exist? So let's say we try to load foo.json. Error, no such value, no end. Great. All right, awesome. So let's store this in a variable. and then we simply try. Then we catch the error. This is nasty. And I'll tell you why this is nasty. For a couple of reasons. And I really don't feel comfortable doing this. So why this is nasty is we're basically just going to catch every error. So this could this could throw an error. This could throw an error. And JSON parse could throw an error in case it can't catch or it can't read the configuration. And we just say, well, okay, the configuration is the configuration is empty. Dear God, so that's nasty. Let me add a nasty note. This is nasty, as we're not checking for error types. This could be. Well, I mean, this could be confusing for the users. There's 3 possible errors that could arise. One is file does not exist, or I guess let's just call them file handler errors. Example, not exist or no access. The second one is could not cast to string, rare. Should not happen, but those are legendary last words. And then JSON.parse can fail because the file is not JSON. So preferably you would handle all of these cases separately. But we're not doing this right now because, like I said, the goal is to move forward. So let's move forward. And then we return a configuration. And then let's say get. Oh man, I shouldn't call it tracks. What did I call it? Get sound files. Return this config.sound files. That's beautiful, I think. Sound files is conf manager gets sound files. So it's gonna be an array. Awesome. So the reason why we are actually, let me just add an error. So the reason why we're calling these getter functions, if you will, if you want to call them getter functions, is because this allows me to raise deprecation warnings or to do something with the data before it's being passed back into, or before it's being passed to the user, which is pretty neat-o. So let's see, sound files, awesome. So here we have open dialog, sound file button ID. All right, please, button IDs start at 0. They do great. Because if we have an add file here with a sound file and a button ID. So the way the button ID looks like is right, hold on, I'll explain it later. I'll get to it. We'll cross that bridge when we get there. So, hold on, sorry. I'm rambling on. So we get the sound files, which is awesome. Should remove this. Right, and then what we're going to do is conf manager get sound files for each sound file we are going to, oops. Boo. So the button ID is 0, and I forget if this actually sends the index that we're currently on. So forgive me, I have to check the documentation. This is what, like I've been writing software for 10, 12, 13 years right now, and callback current value index. Yeah, baby. So this is great because the index is going to be acting as the button ID. And, oh, set sound file index followed by the sound, what do we call it here? Followed by the sound file. Now watch this, because now we say this config dot sound files index equals sound file. Sweet. So in our conf manager, we set the button ID and the sound file. I really don't like that these are like, oh, but never mind. That's a dictionary. So we said button ID is a bad name, but we're just using it as an array index. Basically. Now let's also make sure that this is actually an integer. So again, this is something that's probably going to throw an error if you don't pass it an integer. But again, let's see if we can actually get it to. All right, so it failed to open. That's cool. That works. No errors. Let's turn it into warn. Not error. Not everything is an error. Not everything is an error. Let's see. This is actually going well. So we just simply call add file there. And then we also call conf manager.save. And let's call save after. So because the rendering thread and the application thread are separate, actually I'm not sure if they're processes or threads, but because they're different, we can do some blocking operations in the application thread and simply make sure that the UI thread isn't being blocked, which is pretty cool. Save. A method can be static. Yeah, I know, but fine. Fine, I'll make you static. Jeez, is that what you want? Let me just hoist it to the top. Save would be fs write file sync this dot path followed by JSON. It stringify this dot config. Huh. That's it. Boop. So now that's gonna crash, and if I click add song, air horn, close it, open it, and it's not working. That's pretty shit. So I gotta find out why it's not working. So I just do what all good programmers do. Add some console logs. Adding sound file, button ID. Let's see what it's doing. So it's actually in there. That's also in there. Why aren't you? me guess. The add file isn't actually registered yet at the time. Yeah, of course. Shoot. Okay, so now we... Jesus. Alright, ICP. So now we need to emit a new event. Oh. Wait, how can we... Oh, great. SB sent app ready. And then we say ICP main on app ready. IPC, insane clown posse. That's different. We simply populate. Ah, there we go. Jeez, that was great. Let's see. Oh yeah, everything. Oh boy, I don't... Not sure what it's doing with the buttons there. Oh right, because we're using Flexbox. Actually, I'm not even mad that it's doing this. Sweet. All right, look at that. That's a lot of progress. All right, so because we are only 27 minutes in, let's instead... Oh shoot, it needs the window. All right, first let's move the configuration manager into its own library. Let's create a lib folder and call it configuration manager.js. Yes, create file. Just to clean this up a bit. And nothing like this is used. Wait, app is used? No, it's not used. Module.exports. Wait. Module exports is configuration manager. Just export it straight out of there. And then cons configuration manager. Whoop. Is require lib configuration manager. Look at that. We can remove file system from there. Awesome. Let's see whether this works. It doesn't. App is not defined. Oh, it needs app in here. Oh, right. Yeah, it does need app in there. All these IDEs. Nice. Huh. That's really cool. I can't believe we are only 30 minutes in. Okay, anyway, yeah, so we were saying we were going to clean up. So this is create window. I like that function. So we need to create window. Fed arrow. So can set up inter-process communication. For that it needs a window. Does it need a window? So that's like the thing. is I was thinking that I would just, let's say const setup. Let's go from there. Let's create a setup function first. There's a const window is create window. So this is the window, and I don't think we do anything else with window in here. Browser window. So let's do that first. So that's in its own little space. Its own little function. It's like the opposite of what Bob Ross would do, basically. So now this is in its own function. That's nice. So we call setup when the app is ready. Win is not the right, of course, because I called everything win here and window here. I could search and replace, I guess. Or I think PyCharm even has a beautiful rename function. Beautiful. Okay then, so that's kind of broken up. That's nice. I'm really, oh wait, we can remove this, I think, but we do need this little junk. Oh, dude. Nice. So we have this, if we remember, and we were pretty name and sound file. Right, so this is basically allows us to control the soundboard with the keyboard, which is pretty cool. But I think that we can, let me think. So here we have some code duplication. That's not cool. At the same time, it's a little bit rich to add it to, like, wrap it inside of a wrapper. But we do need to be able to, as soon as someone hits this, I guess inside of config manager. Oh well, whatever. That's too much to think about. So that's basically my my main concern right now is that. Well, first, let me comment this being out because it's going to screw stuff up. So this is going to, like, this piece of code would have to live here. Oh, not here. This piece of code. Oh, right. Hold on. Technically, all we'd have to send is the button ID we want to play. Huh. It's too late for this. It's 11:30 right now in Japan at the time of making this video. So you can imagine that I am a little bit tired. Actually, today was my wife's birthday. Go wife. Let's remove this too. We should see an error here because it's, yeah, unexpected token. Add a song. Ooh. Cannot read property web contents of undefined. Oh, yeah, right, of course. It's adorable. I forgot to return the window. This is great. This might be the best thing in the history of awesome stuff. I'm just going to disable text select on everything. Oh geez, how do I do that? Text, no. Oh, man, I used to know all these things. Disable text selection. Oh yeah, it's the highlighting. Oh right, user select. Yeah. User select. Oh, none. Boom. Let's see what this brings us. Nice. Look at that. This is actually really neat. Oof, that's pretty big. So we kind of want to add like buttons here. Now I do have we can just use Font Awesome. So Font Awesome 5 is no longer free. Oh, it's still open source and completely free for commercial themes. The original Font Awesome. Okay, great. Anyway, we can use these. We can use these to create a pretty interface with icons. This is really nice because it has a lot of icons. So it has like play icons and pause icons and stupid brand icons, which I don't know why they added those, because it just makes no fucking sense. Look at that, 93. Oh wait, that's not. Where's the brand ones? Interesting. Anyway, they had a bunch of brand icons. Oh, yeah, there we go. 381, Jesus. Because just in case you want to have the Bureau Mobile Expert icon on your website. Yeah, that's a little bit silly. Or, okay, yeah, Dungeons and Dragons, Drupal, great Docker, Git Kraken, Grunt Gulp. I just don't understand why. Hooly hips. I think that companies at one point were able to purchase their own icon. And that's how we ended up with a whole bunch of icons. Whatever, it's okay. What am I worried about anyway? They probably made a lot of money. Good for them. So I'm actually, I am actually subscribed. I bought the when this was in when they announced Font Awesome 5, I bought a license because it's not that expensive when you are a like a freelancer or a guy like myself who just fucks around. Anyway, those things I will I don't want to use your CDN, man. Get that fucking shit out of here. So you just have to download and then import. Anyway, I think that this is a good progress for today. I mean, my goal was to be able to load and save configuration files, which is what we're capable of doing. We cleaned up the code a little bit, so it's a little bit more readable and maintainable. We created a configuration manager, which allows us to store configurations and load configurations. And it's quite extendable, I think, as well, and an easy to use API. So yeah, go us. All right, thank you very much for watching live. If you did, if you're watching this not live, thank you for watching it now. I hope you find this series as much fun as I enjoy making it. And I hope you have a good evening, and I will see you in the next episode, which will hopefully not be in 2 or 3 months, but instead sometime this week, where we are going to make the application just look a little bit better. Have a good evening, and I'll see you again.